Welcome to the Father Leo Show, where I am dishing out faith, culture, and commentary. And in this brevisode, I want to offer an explanation as to why a video did not come out on the Father Leo Show on Wednesday, September the 4th. Please know, we did our job. We did a pretty good video on this episode, as far as I can tell, and it was about how the Stop Oil group sent out some of their people to glue their hands to a statue at the St. Peter Vatican Museum. Now, this happened about a year ago. I have no trouble talking about old news because on this show it gives me a chance not to be reactionary but to do some reflection before I actually talk about it. I think that's one of the big problems with a lot of social media is that people are so quick to react, they don't actually have time to think about it to make a proper response. And so here on the show, my objective is not to be reactionary, but rather to be responsive, albeit sometimes critical in the most constructive way, but also to provide some sort of pastoral direction. So this episode was all about the climate cult, the climate change cult members, people who are so invested in trying to save the planet from carbon dioxide because they believe that global warming, now they just call it climate change, is such a problem that they go through very extreme measures. They are, in a sense, missionaries of this climate cult activism. So anyway, that's what we did, an episode about that. And we've done things like that in the past. But this one is interesting because when we actually put it out, we got notification that it broke YouTube's guidelines. Because, ready for this? I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want this episode to get, well, at least this brevisode, to get kind of canceled. Well, it had to do with a girl named Greta Sundenberg. I think you know who I'm talking about. I basically talk about how there was a seemingly staged photo op of Greta Sundenberg getting arrested after a protest somewhere, I believe in England, or maybe, I can't remember where exactly, but there seemed to be a staged kind of arrest made up against this young woman for protesting. And again, it looks staged. I mean, there are actually videos of it being staged. But here's the issue. The comment that our team got as to why this particular video was deleted from YouTube was because it broke COVID-19 violations. I was talking about climate change, not COVID-19, although I'm ready to do an episode on that next because I'm hearing how there are new viruses that are coming out that might affect the election this year, and it'll all require us to send in ballots again because we know how secure that is. I mean, even our now vice presidential candidate, Ms. Harris, talks about how in 2016, how it is very possible for Russia to hack our computer systems and manipulate voting. So she even was all about paper ballots. But I digress. That just happens when I don't have an actual show, but more importantly, an explanation. But anyway, the guideline violation was about COVID-19, not about the climate cult. And here's why I even brought it up in my video that was supposed to come out yesterday, or the September 4th. It's because at what point there was a certain network that invited this certain young person who's involved in climate change as an expert on the COVID-19 she was invited as a panelist to talk about COVID-19. And it was so odd. I mean, I think some of you might have remembered that when COVID came out in 2020, everyone was talking about it and everyone seemingly became experts. And so this particular network hosted a big forum and they invited certain people to be presenters. And this young person, Britta Sundenberg, was invited as a panelist presenter. What does climate have to do with COVID-19? Well, all I know is that somehow those things are always linked, and then you add racism to it as well. This makes no sense to me, but guess what? There are going to be some things that hopefully will make sense when I get to heaven. I'm going to ask God, amongst many things, I will ask God, why was I banned on Twitter? I was banned on Twitter because I put something in there about how drama is not the same as trauma, because of another certain politically well-known figure talked about that in relations to something that happened 2 days after January 4th. Because again, I don't want to get this banned as well. So that got me banned on Twitter, and now this particular video gets pulled. However, my team is working on making that episode, which honestly, I mean, I don't mean for our stuff to be controversial. In fact, my whole objective is to present a pastoral approach to certain things, including how to deal with climate change. And I actually have some pretty good takeaways. But because it was a video an episode that, I put my time into, I don't want to throw it out. So we're working on making it available to anyone who is on our Patreon page. And by the way, you can join Patreon at different levels. But if you do support us financially, you get extra perks. And it really is a blessing, because it's the only way that we can continue to produce this in a regular fashion, but also to make sure that the people who are working on it are obviously getting a wage. I mean, it's not like a real salary, because we could never do it until we do, unless we are able to do it. But to those who support us, you get some special perks. So anyway, this has been my explanation. I just wanted to share this information with you. I mean, and also just to solicit your patience as well as your prayers for a conversion on the internet and the people who are in charge of it. Clearly, it's amazing how you can find absolute junk, true lies, violence, immorality on YouTube. And seemingly, those videos don't have any bans or episodes being pulled. Just garbage on there. But a pastoral approach to the climate change cultism gets banned because of something that was connected to this particular virus that happened 4 years ago. It blows my mind. But please don't worry, because, with your help, we'll continue to dish out faith, culture, and commentary, and hopefully help you stay hungry for God. God bless you. Thank you for your patience, and make sure you join our Patreon community, because we're going to try to upload that video and make it available there. Take care.